Okay, so you know that feeling, right? That little voice, the one that's always kind of telling you
Mhm.
you should be doing something else. Like maybe finally getting to that big project or sticking with the gym, you know?
Oh, absolutely. Or maybe learning that skill you keep putting off.
Exactly. But then, well, tomorrow. Tomorrow's always the day it's going to happen, isn't it?
Right, the "I'll start tomorrow" trap. It's so common. Or feeling like you just don't have enough willpower.
Yeah, like some people are just born with it and you missed out. Goals feel huge, overwhelming, and being consistent, it just feels like this uphill battle you keep, well, losing.
It really is a common struggle.
Hmm.
We set out with the best intentions, but then daily life happens, friction, distractions, that little voice inside saying, maybe later, it can really knock you off track.
Totally. And look, that's exactly why we're doing this deep dive specifically for you. You've given us this amazing stack of material notes, articles, research, all digging into insights from some really powerful books on this very problem.
Mhm.
How do you actually build discipline that lasts?
Yeah, it's a great collection. We've got quite a range here. Perspectives from James Clear on building systems, David Goggins on, well, extreme mental toughness.
Right. And Steven Pressfield on battling that internal resistance, especially for creative stuff.
And Cal Newport on deep focus in a world that's constantly trying to distract you. Plus, Jocko Willink's uh, very direct philosophy. Discipline equals freedom.
It's a really potent mix, isn't it? Different angles on the same core challenge. So our mission today is basically to unpack all this with you. Pull out the best bits, the practical tips, the surprising ideas, maybe the counterintuitive stuff from all these different viewpoints.
I'm tailoring it for you. We want to explore what these sources actually say discipline is and how you can start building it in a way that, actually works for you.
What's cool is that they don't all agree, right? They come at it from really different places.
Absolutely. It's not like there's one single magic answer. It's more like a toolkit with different tools for different situations.
Okay, cool. So let's dive in. Where should we start? Maybe with something practical and maybe a bit gentler. James Clear, Atomic Habits. That one seems very focused on systems.
Yeah, that's a great starting point. Lots of people connect with Clear. He talks about habits and discipline together, obviously, but his core idea really shifts the focus away from just pure willpower.
What's that main takeaway then? The big idea from Clear on discipline.
It really boils down to his line, "You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems." That's powerful, right?
Okay, hang on. Fall to the level of your system. So it's not about aiming higher, but building a better foundation.
Precisely. He argues discipline isn't about gritting your teeth to hit some huge goal. It's about designing small, repeatable actions, your systems, that make doing the right thing almost automatic, or at least much easier.
That really flips the script on the usual set massive goals advice. So the everyday process matters more than the finish line.
That's his argument. The discipline is found in consistently doing the small steps within your system, the things that lead to the outcome. And importantly, he ties it to identity.
Identity. How so?
It's not just about doing a habit like exercise. It's about becoming the kind of person who exercises. The discipline flows more naturally if you see yourself as an exerciser. Your actions then align with that identity.
Okay, I get the concept. But how do you actually become that person? Is it just telling yourself, I'm a reader now? Or are there practical steps?
Oh, it's definitely practical. He gives you the 4 laws of behavior change. Make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, make it satisfying.
Right, I've heard of those.
Yeah, so discipline, in Clear's world, is about using those laws to basically design your environment and your routines. So the good habit is the easy choice, the obvious choice.
Like leaving your running shoes by the door.
Exactly, that's make it obvious. Or, if you want to read more, maybe pair it with something you enjoy, like a cup of tea. Make it attractive.
Yeah.
Start small, just one page. Make it easy. Track your progress, maybe with an app or a calendar. Make it satisfying. It's discipline design, not just discipline willpower.
Discipline design, I like that. Less about white knuckling it, more about being smart about the setup. Okay, but now,
Okay.
let's totally shift gears. Because your stack also has David Goggins, Can't Hurt Me.
Oh, yeah. Complete 180 from Clear in some ways.
Right. If Clear is about making it easy, Goggins seems to be all about, well, making it incredibly hard. What's his take on building discipline?
Goggins' view comes straight out of, intense personal hardship and brutal military training like Navy SEALs. His message is pretty raw. Real discipline is forged by deliberately seeking out discomfort, pushing way past what you think your limits are.
He basically says we're all capable of way more than we think.
That's the core of it. He argues most of us operate at maybe like 40% of our true potential because our minds quit way too early. Our brains are designed to seek comfort and avoid pain.
And that famous rule he talks about, the 40% rule.
Exactly, the 40% rule. He suggests that when your mind is screaming at you that you're done, totally spent, can't do anymore, whether running, working, whatever, you've probably only used about 40% of your actual capacity.
Wow, okay.
So discipline, for Goggins, is about actively training yourself to ignore that voice, to push into that unused 60%, to callous your mind, as he puts it.
Callous your mind. That's intense. So Clear says build easy systems. Goggins says seek out the hard stuff. How does someone, who isn't planning to run an ultramarathon or become a SEAL actually use this in daily life?
That's the million-dollar question, right? His examples are extreme, sure, but the principle can be scaled down. It's about finding small moments of voluntary discomfort in your day. Maybe it's doing one extra rep at the gym when you want to quit. Maybe it's staying focused on a boring task for 5 more minutes when you want to check your phone. Maybe it's taking the stairs when the elevator's right there and you're tired.
Okay, so little choices.
Little choices to lean into the suck, as you might say. It's about building that mental muscle, that resilience, by choosing the slightly harder path voluntarily, even in small ways. Discipline is choosing discomfort to grow.
Okay, two very different takes. Systems and identity versus embracing the hard stuff. Let's bring in another angle from your sources. Steven Pressfield's The War of Art. This one talks a lot to creatives, but that internal battle feels pretty universal. What's Pressfield's enemy of discipline?
Pressfield gives it a name, resistance, capital R. He describes it as this universal internal force that actively pushes back against anything that requires effort, anything that moves us towards growth or creativity or really any meaningful work.
Resistance. Yeah, I think we all know that feeling.
Oh, absolutely. It's procrastination, it's self-doubt, it's fear, it's that sudden urge to clean your entire apartment when you're supposed to be writing. It's all the excuses we make.
All the ways we sabotage ourselves. So what's Pressfield's answer? How does discipline fit in?
It's brutally simple, actually. He says the difference between an amateur and a professional isn't talent or luck. It's that the professional shows up and does the work every single day, whether they feel like it or not.
Regardless of inspiration or mood?
Regardless of anything. Discipline, for Pressfield, is the act of overcoming resistance by simply sitting down and starting. You treat it like a job, you have your time, your place, and you do the work.
So discipline is just showing up, engaging even when resistance is screaming at you.
Pretty much. He even says resistance is a sign you're on the right track. It only shows up for things that matter. So you acknowledge it, and then you do the work anyway. Discipline is the act of putting in the hours, consistently.
Showing up? That feels like a common thread, even if the how is different.
Okay. And showing up often means needing to actually focus, which, let's be honest, is getting harder and harder.
Definitely. Which brings us nicely to another book in your stack, Cal Newport's Deep Work.
Right. What's the discipline angle there? It's about focus, obviously, but how does that relate to discipline?
Newport's whole argument is that in our, constantly connected, notification-filled world, the ability to do deep work is becoming incredibly rare, but also incredibly valuable.
And deep work is?
It's cognitively demanding work. Focused concentration on a single task without distraction for a sustained period, pushing your skills to produce high-quality output. Think writing code, developing a strategy, learning something complex.
Okay, so not checking email every 5 minutes.
Exactly, not that. That's shallow work. So discipline, through Newport's lens, is about actively structuring your life and work to allow for deep work. It's about fighting the constant pull of distraction.
So it's not just doing the work, like Pressfield says, but doing it with intense focus. Precisely. Discipline here means things like scheduling specific uninterrupted blocks of time for deep work. Intentionally disconnecting, like turning off your phone or internet access, training your attention span, building rituals around focus. The discipline is in creating and defending those spaces for concentration.
That really makes you think about how you structure your whole day, doesn't it? Not just the task list, but the way you approach it. Okay, one more major perspective in your stack, the very direct one. Jocko Willink, discipline equals freedom.
Ah, Jocko. Yeah, no messing around there. The title says it all, really.
It's pretty blunt. What's the core message from that perspective?
It's stark, simple, powerful. Discipline isn't something that restricts you. It's the only path to genuine freedom. Freedom from weakness, freedom from excuses, freedom from your own limitations, freedom to actually achieve what you want.
So things like get up early, work out, do the work. That's basically it.
That's the essence. It's about extreme ownership, taking full responsibility, and relentless, consistent, daily action. Discipline is doing the things you know you should do, especially when you don't feel like it.
Because that's what creates future options, future freedom.
Exactly. Want freedom in your health? Discipline your diet and exercise now. Want financial freedom? Discipline your spending and saving now. Want the freedom to pursue your passion? Discipline your time and effort now. It's the ultimate case for the proactive, no excuses daily grind.
Wow. Okay. So if we kind of pull back and look at all this, it's quite a landscape. We've got discipline through smart systems and identity with James Clear.
Then discipline through embracing discomfort and pushing limits with David Goggins.
Discipline as the daily battle against internal resistance, just showing up with Steven Pressfield.
Then discipline as cultivating deep, protected focus in a distracted world from Cal Newport.
And finally, discipline as the straightforward, non-negotiable daily action that leads to freedom with Jocko Willink.
Yeah.
A lot of different ways to come at it.
It really is. It shows there isn't just one way, right? Discipline can look like clever design or raw resilience or consistent effort or intense focus or just sheer daily commitment.
So thinking about all these different flavors, the systems, the discomfort, the showing up, the focus, the relentless action, maybe thinking now directly to you, the listener, which of these ideas, well, which one kind of clicks for you right now?
Yeah, which one feels like it speaks to where you're at? What challenge you're facing?
Is it feeling overwhelmed? So maybe clear systems approach sounds good. Or do you feel like you quit too easily? So Goggins' ideas resonate.
Or maybe procrastination is the big one, and Pressfield's just show up message hits home. Or is it the constant distraction, making Newport's deep work ideas appealing?
Or perhaps you just need that blunt truth from Jocko that consistent action is the only way. Which path feels most promising for you right now?
What's really interesting is that underneath all these different approaches, there's a common theme, isn't there? It's that discipline isn't really about waiting to feel motivated or having some magical willpower gene.
Right. It's active. It's something you do.
Exactly. And it often starts small, consistent little actions, maybe a shift in how you think about things, or just deciding to face that discomfort or distraction just for a bit.
Yeah. So, okay, based on all this, here's maybe a concrete challenge for you, inspired by these sources. Just pick one idea, one thing from one of these perspectives we've talked about.
Just one. Don't try to do everything at once.
Right. And commit to applying one tiny specific thing from it this week. Like maybe set up one small, obvious habit a la Clear, or deliberately do one slightly uncomfortable thing, Goggins style, just push for 5 extra minutes.
Or show up for just 15 minutes on that project you're avoiding, Pressfield style. Or schedule one 25-minute block of truly focused work, like Newport suggests.
Or maybe just set your alarm 15 minutes earlier tomorrow, Willink style, and get moving. One small thing.
Start small, but start consistently.
Yeah.
Because that's how you build the muscle, right? Little by little.
Definitely. So maybe the final thought to leave you with is this. What kind of freedom, what kind of potential could discipline actually unlock for you if you really built it?
And maybe, what's that one simple, maybe slightly uncomfortable step you've been putting off?
Yeah.
That could actually make the biggest difference if you just did it.
Something to think about.